Welcome to DentonRadio.com, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
Welcome to the Visitor Center on a pristine day here in Denton, Texas. A beautiful day. The Arts and Jazz Festival is going on. We got a lot happening around the square, and we are very excited to visit right now with the Raelyn Nelson Band. I'm Hank Dickinson. I got called into duty since Jake is off on his honeymoon. Hopefully he's not checking messages or emails, but he has allowed Isabel and I to go ahead and try and get through this with a band that will play tonight at Lone Star Attitude, just one door over from our visitor center. And you guys have been in Denton before, so you know kind of the vibe here. But obviously you were Raelyn.
I'm Raelyn.
Jonathan.
Preach. Yes.
Excellent. So you guys will be doing a sound check here momentarily, and
Angie's here with us. She's our drummer.
Angie's over
here.
Well,
that's my little sister, but Angie's in the record store. There she is.
The drummer is in. She's shopping right now here at the Visitor Center.
She bought some stuff.
Well, let's talk about why you're here. Why Denton? This is a town that prides itself in its music acumen, and you've been here several times. Mm-hmm. Why tonight? What's going on?
Well, we're going to play a show at LSA Burger tonight, next door. We played here last year at the Thin Line Film Festival, and we fell in love with the town. It's so cute, a little square, and it does have an Austin vibe about it. So it's comfortable and feels like home. What do you guys think of the town? Would you like to say things?
Yeah, well, we were the first time we came through, we played Dan's Silverleaf, and we got in at night, played, and left right after the gig and drove to Abbott. But when we came back last year, we had no idea anything because it was nighttime and we never even saw the square. So when we came back for the film festival, of course it was, the streets were shut down or whatever. We were walking around and, it reminded us of Austin maybe 20 years ago before it was, quote unquote discovered. And, it's just good people. It's kind of a hippie vibe going on. You could tell that there's a lot of music fans and it seems very diverse musically and people-wise, too. So, I've told everybody that hasn't heard of Denton that they should get through Denton.
Don't steal my cheater glasses. I'm the oldest guy here at the table. I need these at some point. Creech, this is a hard crew to work with.
No.
Let's talk about this young lady here and her talents.
Okay.
From a songwriting and a singer standpoint, where is she stronger?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10. You're a 10. As a songwriter, she's a great songwriter, and her and Jonathan do a lot of things together as far as the writing. But as a performer, she's a rock star, I think.
Aww.
Well, I looked at the bio on your website, and this is what really caught me. It said your music is a mixture of Loretta Lynn and Cheap Trick. I grew up on Loretta Lynn and Cheap Trick. Now, I want to know, is that just fluff, or are you really a fan of Loretta Lynn and Cheap Trick?
I'm a huge fan of Loretta Lynn, and more recently, later on in my life, a fan of Cheap Trick. But these guys introduced me to all that music. I didn't grow up listening to them. It's
funny. The first few songs I listened to actually have a quality of both of those groups, and so you're obviously a person with traditional country and gospel in your background. How did you morph over into more of the kind of pop sound that you would hear from, say, a Cheap Trick?
I met this guy, and we started writing songs together.
Well, originally, she had just came with some acoustic songs, and they were more country. And we sort of rounded some of those up and did some demos before we even talked about starting a band or anything. She just wanted to do some demos of her songs. And then, obviously she has a background in that stone cold traditional country stuff, which
he was really blown away by the songs that I brought to the studio to record. And he was like, you know what, I just have to write songs with you and we have to figure out a combo.
Something like that, yeah. But no, her country background is the country that I love. I love Hank Sr. and all that stuff. So
were you named after Hank Sr.?
I was named after Hank Snow.
Also,
my dad was a big Hank Snow guy, and so there are a lot of Hanks out there, but yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Traditional country is always out there, and in this town, we've got some fantastic bands that will always bring it back. The Raised Right Men, if you ever get a chance to see them, aficionados of traditional country.
Texas is good about that.
Texas is good about that, and you're from Nashville. So the next question would be, what's the difference in touring through Nashville and that area and then coming to Texas? Is it a big departure in terms of what the fans want to hear?
I wouldn't say so.
Well, it depends on what part of Nashville you're talking about, because
Yeah.
it's an industry town. So the country that they're putting out is not necessarily what people are listening to in town. You know, they're churning out that new country, which is not our favorite kind of thing. But there's still traditional country
And
bands
if you're not
around.
doing that, you get looped into this Americana genre there.
It's just the catch-all for everything.
If you're trying to play something that's not metal, you're all of a sudden Americana, I think, in Nashville, if you're not on the Cumulus station, you know.
Well, you know, if you look at artists, I mean, Neil Young is really 3 or 4 artists in one.
Sure.
But a lot of his country/grunge seems like it may have had an impact on you.
Neil Young?
Is Neil Young a guy that
I mean,
has...
he's been around the family, but he's not a big influence. My family is my biggest musical influence. My grandpa and Aunt Bobby have been on the road for over 45 years together, and growing up watching them play music for work, you know, that's what we were told. They're at work. They're working. And my Aunt Amy and my Aunt Paula, they had bands and were singing at the picnics. And I was like, I want to do that. They gave me the music bug. And yeah, started writing tunes from a young age. Didn't even realize I was writing songs, melodies in my head. And then when I realized it, I started putting some tunes together, you know. It's just...
I'm assuming next door at LSA you've seen the big mural on the wall,
Yes.
which is a depiction of the Last Supper. But
right.
all
I
of
forgot
outside of
Texas.
Jesus, everyone else is a Texas music icon, and your grandfather's up there, obviously.
And he's the only one living.
Yeah, that might be right. Is that right? I didn't know
think-
that.
yeah, that's what they
Everybody else
said.
is gone. Well, I watched him today.
Except for Jesus, he rose again. But anyway, we'll continue.
I watched one of his shows today before I came
Jesus?
over here.
Jesus
Not
show?
Jesus,
Oh.
no, Willie. I'm curious, do you feel like the songwriting is your own, or is there a little bit of genetic fortune in that?
Oh, I think songs kind of channel through, and you know, we have fun writing lyrics and being cheeky with words and that sort of thing. I think comes from him and that side of the family, trying to be cheeky and a little witty with the point you're trying to make in the song.
But I do think she has a natural gift for melody, because, I mean, she's been writing songs since she was young, but only really writing songs for like 5 or 6 years, getting serious about it. So when we first got together, she was very green, but you could tell, well, these are good melodies, you know, and if we can just keep her doing that and keep pumping them out, we're going to get a bunch of songs out of this. So she's definitely born
That's
with
what I bring to
something.
the table, melodies. I'm the melody girl.
Well, it gets you started,
Yeah.
right? I'm fortunate in that a lot of friends of mine are musicians. I don't have any musical talent, but I love listening to music, and I'm always curious about the songwriting end of it. When you work together and you collaborate, is there any method to that, or are you bringing ideas constantly and just trying to marry them?
There's not really
I don't want to get married.
I wasn't pushing for that.
We both come up with ideas, and usually it's a voice memo. You know, these days you can work on your phone, so we'll hit record on the voice memo, send each other the ideas, and
like
and
a
then
snapshot of something, and maybe no words, even just da 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 or a melody line, and then send it along, and then sort of pass it back and forth until we have sort of a germ of the idea, and then we'll get together
And
face to face and kind of hammer it out and fill out lyrics and stuff like that. But I don't think we've ever really just we need to write at 3 o'clock today and sit down. A lot of people do that. That's what Nashville does. They put people in rooms and they schedule that stuff. And I've never been able to on-call. Now, if somebody brings
our
an
songs
idea,
naturally come, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, we want to finish this, you know, so then it's just kind of
yeah, and if an idea comes, you can jump on it and start working on it. If we just come, you know, maybe it'll work, but we can't really sit down and make an appointment for an idea to come. Now, if we have a germ of an idea, we make an appointment to finish it, but we've never really let's get together on Tuesday and quote unquote write, you know, which there's people do it in many different ways.
I'm
but
really busy on Tuesdays anyway.
Not a good writing
Tuesday's
day.
a bad day for you.
Well, you're the Raelyn Nelson band, so you've tried to stay concentric to the whole band thought rather than the brand, which is Nelson, obviously. And I've seen Willie, I've seen Paula, I've seen Lucas. Are you trying to separate yourself in any way, or do you celebrate that?
I'm so proud of him and the family. I wouldn't not trying to separate, but the sound that we make is different than, we're all making our own sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a little different. Lucas sounds a lot like Papa Willie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard his stuff?
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You mentioned Dan Silverleaf. Most of the music I get to see is down there. LSA is a great place. We've got Andy's Bar. We've got Harvest House. This is a great town for all of those people to come through. And one thing I always enjoy watching about bands is it's a lot like the field I'm in, athletics. You're a team, and you've got to keep a chemistry going. And it's not always about just when you're on stage. How hard is it to keep that chemistry important to everybody in the band when you're off the stage, when you're traveling, which is the hardest part of this business?
I think that's what we do the best.
When we're frustrated, we kind of know how to deal with each other.
Everybody just shuts up and gets in their own space. I mean, we can be packed in a van for 11 hours, and if we're sick of one another, just nobody says anything. But we also have made concerted efforts to trying to avoid bringing in anyone into the fold that is not a good hang. You'd rather have somebody that's slightly less player, although we're all pretty amazing players. I'm kidding. But, we've had a bunch of different
players.
Drummers that we've used. And the first thing is like, well, before we even sit down and play, can we ride in a van with them for 6 hours without wanting to strangle them? Because that is,
it's a big part of it.
It's a big part of it. Yeah. So we're
You'll
lucky
learn really quick whether you like someone after 10 hours in the van.
We're pretty lucky in that respect.
Well, tonight, what will the folks upstairs at LSA get to hear? You got some new stuff. You're going to be introducing some new music tonight?
Yeah, we didn't get to play these songs last year, so we are hopefully have some new music coming out at the end of May, early June. So we're going to play those tunes tonight for sure.
Cool. So how long will the set be tonight?
I think we do a couple of sets tonight.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
A couple of sets. And so we'll play a little bit and then come out and hang, and then play a little bit and come out and hang.
But you're going to come hang with me later tonight down at booth 17 at the Arts and Jazz Festival.
That's right.
When
Nice
you're done
plug.
playing, right?
Yes.
There's a professional right there. He got his plug in
Scout's got
there
it written
too.
down.
Los Lobos. Come
Love
check
Los
that
Lobos.
out.
Yeah.
As we begin to wrap up, the thing that when I talk to musicians that they want to talk about is where do you want this music to take you? What is your end game? Some people want to make a lot of money and be famous. Some people want to introduce music that changes lives. What is your end game with this?
Money is nice, but I want to play music. I've seen my family do it, and it's so much fun. I want to spend the rest of my life playing music with my friends. It's the way to live life. And if success in the form of fame or money comes, I'm okay with that. We're going where the music, we're living at the whim of the music and where it takes us. I'm speaking for myself, though.
But yeah, I think the idea is to whatever the music you create, start there. And as long as you're proud of whatever the music part is, then as far as how it's marketed or wherever it takes you, then we're sort of okay with wherever it goes, as long as from the ground floor the song sounds good to us and we're proud of it. And then, we'd like for as many people as possible to be able to hear it. But we're not necessarily looking to do things that aren't ourselves just so as many people as possible can hear it, if that makes any sense.
This is the Raelyn Nelson Band, and Creech, I'll bring you in here. Music has changed. How you market music has changed. How many days a year are you on the road, and how much time do you spend trying to get the music played? Now over the air is different than it was 10 years ago.
Sure.
You're trying to get it out there in so many different fashions. Well,
we instead of releasing records over the past couple of years, we do singles, sort of like the old school '60s approach to it, where each will do a song.
Do you have a B-side?
Well, it's just one side,
Got to get the B-side.
Well, the B-side's the video.
B-side.
We
Yeah.
got the single and the video.
We'll do a video, and we'll do that, and we find that gives each song like a life of its own, as opposed to it just being on a record that they're only going to play one or two songs on any given station. So we do that, and as far as being on the road, we do travel quite a bit. I don't know if we do about 40 or so
Every other weekend.
Yeah,
Being in Nashville, we're centrally located, so you're 6 or 8 hours away from the East Coast. Aside from getting to Texas and way out west, you can go. There's a lot of places to play.
But you're driving, not flying right now. Is that
Yes.
Some
right?
of the time, yeah.
Some of the time.
We'll fly some. Yeah.
There's
So
a
it's about
few that
50
we have to,
shows a
but
year,
mostly driving.
if not more.
Is the spring a really fertile time to be out because people are
Yes.
doing all these festivals
Yes.
and everybody's kind of starting to get ready for the summer, and it seems like it's a great time to
Yes.
be out in front of folks.
Yes, it's exciting.
It makes traveling easier too, because it's nicer out.
Okay, so in Texas, favorite venues?
Townsend and Austin.
The Townsend was a lot of fun. 310 was awesome. Was really cool too.
I like Dan Silverleaf, quite frankly.
That was fun.
I was shocked rolling into there. Huge PA, nice stage. Again, we'd never been to Denton, and I'd never heard of it. I read an article about this suburb of Dallas that's got this amazing music scene. So
because there's not much going on in Dallas, right?
Well, I had friends in Dallas, and I'm like,
we don't look south up here.
Yeah.
We're north of ordinary.
Well, the thing is, I asked a buddy of mine. I was like, where should we play in Dallas? He's like, nowhere, man. Dallas is lame. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, let's try. No offense, Dallas, but this is coming from a dude that lives in Dallas. Yeah. So that's how, and we came through here, and like I said, Dan Silverleaf it reminds me of all the cool clubs. There's a club like that in all of the cool towns around, it seems like.
I'll need to check it out. I've never been. I hear it's a nice place. If we were to go to Nashville tomorrow, people listening that travel and like music, where would you recommend in Nashville?
To see music or just
see music? Yeah,
I would say the 5 Spot in East Nashville is a great venue. Place. The Exit Inn is old and sounds great. It's right there on Elliston, right next to Vanderbilt.
Everybody's played.
Printers Alley has turned into way too.
Stay away from Broadway.
Don't
go downtown.
If you're there on Tuesday nights, the Rock and Roll Residency does a rock and roll cover night, and it's cool at the Mercy Lounge.
Deep covers, it's cool. It's not just.
But the original Ryman, have you had a chance to do anything on that stage?
Only with my grandpa. Singing gospel with him. We haven't gotten to play there yet.
If we'd gotten to play there, that would be like line 1 on your bio. We've played the Ryman.
Well, listen, it's a thrill to visit with you. We appreciate you being in Denton. It is a big night tonight. There's a lot going on, and LSA has certainly turned into one of those great places where people get off the highway to come to Denton just to experience it. So you'll have a great crowd up there.
Awesome.
And you could not have better weather.
That's the
I know.
Than
like
tonight.
to say
it was really cold when we played up there last year.
Yes,
and we were all shaking. But
what time's the show start tonight?
7?
7, I think. It seems early, but I think that's right.
Going to get a hamburger while you're up there?
Maybe afterwards. I can't eat before.
If you're worried about your figure like I am, the turkey bob is highly recommended.
Okay.
But all the hamburgers are awesome.
Good French fries, too. I remember that from last year.
Good French fries, garlic fries.
Yeah,
good
I'm
stuff.
a French fry.
Do they have veggie burgers up there, you think?
They do. But the turkey bob, go with that. You'll be fine.
But what about the turkeys?
Well, they gave themselves up for a good turkey bob.
I don't think they
Okay,
did
there
that.
probably is a veggie burger up there. Isabel, what do you think? We've done well here.
Who's your favorite, Isabel, of the 5 of us? 4.
Well, she's probably going to cast me out quickly.
I'm going to go with Raelyn.
I hope I can sneak back up and watch one of the two. But you guys come and hang out tonight later on. And,
absolutely.
Save
we'll
us some
more
beer?
cool yeah, we'll save you some.
Okay.
No doubt. A pleasure.
Nice
all
to
of you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate Jake allowing me to come visit with this group that we think will continue to pass through Denton, Texas. And for DentonRadio.com, I'm Hank Dickinson for Isabel Denise, who produced this. We thank you for joining us, and you've got time to come down to the square, check out the Raelyn Wilson Band. Correct?
Wilson? Raelyn Wilson Band.
Willie is not here tonight, but he would be proud that she is. Thank you all for being here.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.